Hello YouTubers and welcome back to Go Figure Customs YouTube channel. Facebook is an interesting thing. My Facebook page is rapidly approaching 6,000 followers, which never ceases to amaze me. One of the other things that always I find weird is what people will put likes and comments on. The algorithms are really weird. Think I have sort of a handle on how to post my stuff so more people see it. I don't really post to other groups anymore just because I have enough people following my page that I don't really need the exposure, and since I don't do commissions, I don't really need to drum up business. But one of the things that has gotten a lot of likes recently are some of my recent acquisitions for my personal collection and not my customs, which I think is kind of weird. So I got a shit ton of likes on the Reaction Super 7 Plus Once a Man Cobra Commander. A lot of people didn't realize that figure existed or was available, which it is. It is an Entertainment Earth exclusive. They had a big batch of them. They were announced at Joe Fest a couple weeks ago. They had a big batch of them ready for sale at the end of Joe Fest through Entertainment Earth and promptly sold out of them. However, they did put a pre-order back up for them with, I don't know if I saw an expected delivery date on those. But go to Entertainment Earth if you want the Cobra Commander. Once a Man Cobra Commander. The other one that got quite a bit of likes and interesting comments was the Hiya Toys Zartan, which again, the pre-order has been out for a significant amount of time. And I'm certainly not the only one that has one of these. So I know a bunch of collectors have these and have probably done video reviews on this figure and unboxings and all of that stuff. But on my own personal page, I got a lot of likes, comments, questions, and of course, trolling posts, which I promptly delete. I don't put up with that bullshit. It's my page. You act like an asshole, you're gonna get your comments deleted and I'm gonna block you. But as a result of so much interest, I figured I would do a figure review of the Hiya Toys Zartan. So since it's unboxed, it's not going to be an unboxing obviously, but it will be a figure review. So let's have a look at it real quick here. All right, first off, one of the interesting comments I got was that the figures are nice, but they are way out of scale for 1/18th scale. So here is a nice shot of left to right, the 25th anniversary Zartan, the Hiya Toys Zartan, Joy Toy and a couple of Joy Toy figures. The Zartan with the hood is a bit taller than the rest of the figures. However, I'm not seeing like a scale disparity here. I think it fits very well with the Joy Toy and with the Joy Toy figures, which are more realistic to begin with. Does it fit well with the 25th anniversary G.I. Joe figures? Not particularly, but as we've mentioned on the General Geekery podcast, the 25th anniversary figures really didn't age well. The Zartan's not horrible compared to some of the other 25th anniversary figures, but all in all, they're not the best figures. So I don't really see the scale disparity there. But there's a good picture for you, a reference photo of a couple different figures from different lines. So let's have a look, a bit more close look at the figure itself. All right, here's the Hiya Toys Zartan figure and everything that comes with it in the package. We'll take it apart here real quick. So here's the figure itself. The sculpting is fantastic. There is a belt that's loose. I know my co-host JD will probably glue that belt down. He does have a nice knife on the back. The knife is removable, which is always a bonus for me. The chest armor looks like it's removable, but I don't think that it is. It's not seeing like straps to release it. It looks like you could take it off, but I don't know that I would want to try. The pictures that I've seen, the hood is removable. So yeah, the hood does come off. Again, I'm not sure why you would want to take the hood off, but the hood does come off, and it does come with the mask that's very reminiscent of the one that came with the 1984 version of Zartan, and should fit under the hood. So there he is with the mask on. My co-host JD said the new mask looks like a version of Guy Fawkes, and I can't unsee that now. So thanks, JD. And it does have his backpack to hold the mask. One of the things that I did notice about the backpack is you'll notice there's a peg on it, which you can peg the pistol to. Fits in the trigger guard there. So if you don't want him holding the pistol does peg into the backpack, or pegs onto the backpack, and the backpack just pegs into figure. The backpack does open, as most of the Zartan backpacks have in the past. There are very nicely sculpted details inside and painted details inside, and then the mask does fit in there. This is one of my few gripes about this particular figure, is my backpack does not stay pegged very well. It is very loose, which I don't like very much. So I probably will fix that by putting a small drop of super glue in each of the holes and letting it dry, or using like a Bondic pin and putting some UV resin in there to make the holes just a bit tighter, because it, with the mask in there, it doesn't really close very well. I mean, it does close, but it doesn't peg in very well, so it doesn't stay closed. If I was going to try and make this work a little better, what I would do is I would heat the mask up with a hairdryer and get it to fit in the backpack a little bit better, and then fit the lid on. But this is my only real pet peeve with this figure, is that the backpack does not close well, and it certainly does not close well with the mask in it. Let's see if I can, yeah, so the back just fell off just by tapping on it. So luckily, as a customizer, that's an easy fix for me, so it's not that big of an issue to me. The other things in the package, let's go over that real quick, is an extra set of hands, like trigger figure hands. I probably will swap out the trigger figure hand on the right hand and then just leave the other hand alone. They are jointed, which I do appreciate, and the plastic is very soft on the hands. Anybody that collects the vintage Real American Heroes knows that broken thumbs are just a fact of life with a real American Hero figures. You will not have that issue going forward with these figures because the plastic is so soft that it is not going to break. I think people will bitch about the fact that the hands feel cheap, but I appreciate the fact that my Zartan's going to have thumbs 30 years from now and still yet be able to hold his weapon. So clearly he can hold his weapon. Let's swap those hands out real quick here and see how easy that is to do it. So it's ball jointed. This is not my favorite design for this type of hand, but it does work. I find them to be a bit fragile with the ball joints in the wrists. This one's not too bad. I don't have a problem with this one. But you know, that is the problem with the soft plastic, is it pops right off. But again, it's not going to break, which I would rather have. To me, it doesn't feel cheap because I know what they used and why they used it, and I appreciate that they had the forethought to say, hey, broken thumbs are a problem. Let's remedy that by using a softer plastic that's not going to break. Does it feel cheaper? I think that's a matter of opinion. But the softer plastic sure is nice. The thigh pads would be removable if you wanted to remove them. I don't see any reason why. Again, there's pretty standard articulation. We've got the ball joints in the hips. There's a mid-thigh swivel, double jointed knees, and then articulated feet. They are not jointed at the in the toes. I can take or leave that joint. That sometimes it's helpful to be able to position that joint to get your figures to stand up. Sometimes it's more of a hindrance than anything else. What else is in the package? Figure stand. This is my other big pet peeve. The foot peg for this particular brand of toys is proprietary. There is no other figure that uses this size hole. I don't know anyone that makes figure stands for these as a third party. So they that's a huge gripe of mine. Not just with this particular toy, but toys in general, is proprietary foot peg holes and stands. That absolutely drives me crazy because I collect mostly the figures loose these days. The other thing that comes in the box are what I call H-clips, and people are often asking, what are these for? Let me see if I have another Hiya Toys stand here real quick. I probably do, so let's open this. So this is what the H-clips are for. Take Zartan off the stand. You can see that there are grooves in that stand. It's kind of hard to do without being able to look at it. There we go. There you go. That's what the little H-clips or I-clips are for. They will clip the Hiya Toys stands together. I don't know if this is a G.I. Joe stand or if this is a Zartan one. This one I think is from a Predator figure. Yes, Predator. So they will connect your Hiya Toy stands to one another. So that's what that's for. Here is the packaging. Again, I opened it, obviously. I did not plan on doing this. The card back is not the best. You're going to have a hard time getting these because these have to come in from overseas. These are not available in the United States. You have to get them through specific retailers. So getting them shipped to the United States, if you're a mint on card collector, you're going to have a hard time getting a good one, I think. Mine's not too bad, but the box sure was beat up. So on the card art, very reminiscent of the Hector Garrido art from the A Real American Hero line, which I really appreciate. I do like that. The card art's very nice. And then on the back, obviously multilingual. Very little of it is in English because these were not meant to be released in the United States, which I think is really weird. It says Exquisite Mini, which is the line, is a new standard setting series for 1/18 scale, featuring super articulation action figures from Hiya Toys. So there's just a couple pictures of Zartan, contact information, their Twitter page, their Facebook page, and their Instagram page, and then a QR code. I don't know what the QR code does. And then it came in, obviously, the blister, and the figure stand sits in the back of that. The packaging is... I like the internal packaging. This is one of the things that, as a customizer, I wish I could make is my own vacuum forms. But I think it would not be cost effective for what I do. All in all, I think the figure is fantastic. The articulation is great. The paint apps are fantastic. If you're not familiar with the Hiya Toys line, basically what they are 1/18 scale versions of the classified figures. So this is the same, essentially the same sculpt as the 1/12 scale classified Zartan. And I do have one. I should have grabbed it for the video. So let me do that real quick. So here is the classified Zartan. This is just the standard release. There was a San Diego Comic-Con version of this Zartan that came with a bunch of different stuff. I don't have that one. My co-host JD does, as Zartan is his favorite villain of all time. The only differences are he's got the snake's head that clips into his belt. I didn't know how it came off. He does have the knife. His backpack is a lot more robust. It does have pegs on both sides to peg in weapons. And it does open, as I recall. But it is essentially the same sculpt, which I like. And yeah, it's the same sculpt inside. The paint details are almost exactly the same on the inside. And the face mask fits in this better, obviously, and it fits together a lot better. But essentially, it is, not 100% accurate, obviously, but it's as close as you're going to get from a different manufacturer. So there you go. Whoops. So it is essentially a 1/18 scale version of the classified figure, which I do really like, because I'm not the biggest fan of the classified scale to begin with. I am very much a 1/18 scale collector, but I do like one of the things I do like about the classified line is the new takes on the existing figures. So those are really hard to pass up. So when those new reimaginations come out in 1/18th scale, it's really hard to pass these figures up. The price on these, I'm sorry, I don't remember what the price is on them. Especially with tariffs right now, I couldn't begin to tell you. You can get them from Locker Toys, and Cool Toys Club. I've been getting mine from Cool Toys Club. As premium figures go, because these are low run figures, I don't know how many are being made in each run, but they are not mass produced to the level like Hasbro's figures are. They are a little bit more expensive than a 1/18 scale figure normally would be, but to me they aren't overpriced either, which is another thing that I do like about Hiya Toys, about this particular line, is yes, they are a bit more expensive than a mass-produced 1/18 scale figure, but not so much so that makes them unaffordable or unappealing. I do have a couple more coming. I've kind of picked and choosed at the line. I like to be a completist sometimes, and sometimes it's like, yeah, I really don't need that figure at all. So I've passed on a few of them. I have the Snake Eyes, the Storm Shadow, the Major Blood, Firefly, Zartan, obviously, and it seems like I have another one in my collection. And then I've got a bunch of them on pre-order, but not all of them. But at any rate, there is a review of the Hiya Toys 1/18 scale Zartan figure. Hopefully you found the review useful in some fashion, or at least entertaining. Maybe that answers a few questions for you on whether or not you'd like to pick this figure up. I will throw some links in the show notes on where you can get this figure. I would assume that it's probably available on eBay for a price. Like I said, Locker Toys has them. That is where I bought most of my Joy Toy figures over the years. I have never had an issue with them. And then Cool Toys Club is where I've been getting the Hiya Toys G.I. Joe guys. All of my Hiya Toys G.I. Joe guys have come from them, and again, I have had no issues with them, so I don't hesitate in recommending them. But you know, shit gets lost in the mail, so don't blame me if you buy it and didn't get it. If you have any questions, comments, throw them down below, and I do get back to everybody. Maybe not right away. And then, of course, this whole video was a result of social media interactions on my Facebook page, and I am 5 followers away from 6,000 followers. So again, I appreciate everyone that follows my work on Facebook. And I do pay attention to what interests people. So as always, please do that fun social media stuff. Like, share, subscribe, comment below, follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I don't use the Instagram very much, but I am on there. And thanks for watching.